Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745 here with my continuing playthrough of Hearts of Iron 3 with Black Ice 8.6. Okay, we got to get into this. Monumental architecture has advanced. That is good. That is under nation, I believe. Yes, I think here. Yes, so we're going to cancel that. Good. Province lost. Uprising. Some sort of French uprising, it looks like. We'll take care of this in a bit. Why would the French want to uprise? I can't understand it. We've been so nice to them. This looks like a massive uprising. Something very unhistorical unless it was what would be timed with D-Day. We got looks like everywhere. I'm guessing that has to be an event. But I think we're going to kick their butt without much disruption to the overall situation. Okay, but first I want to go through here. Portugal has decided to send a voluntary Liego Virato to support our fight against Bolshevism. Okay, good. La Résistance Française, the French resistance, is the name used to denote a collection of French resistance movements that fought against Nazi German occupation of France against the collaboration of Vichy regime. During World War II, resistance cells were small groups of armed men and women called maquis in rural areas, who in addition to their guerrilla warfare activities were also publishers of underground newspapers, providers of first-hand intelligence information, and maintainers of escape networks that helped the Allied soldiers and airmen trapped behind enemy lines. The men and women of the resistance came from all economic levels and political leanings of French society, including émigrés. Okay, well, we're getting, I guess, more uprisings right now. The one thing, though, at this point, it definitely would have communists in them, but the communists prior to the invasion of the Soviet Union were actually quite helpful for our German occupation because they followed the Stalinist line and supported the Nazis during that period. Okay, military administration in French Reich was an interim occupation established during World War II to administer the occupation's so-called zone occupé consisted of northern France Department of North Calais. Okay, another. So we get more occupation forces. Lose 50 manpower that we just built up from that. Okay, well, yeah. Damn. Okay. Kalmykian Voluntary Cavalry Corps. Kalmykian Cavalry Corps was a unit of about 5,000 Kalmykian volunteers who chose to join the German Armed Forces in 1942 rather than remain in the Soviet Kalmykian Republic as the German army retreated before the Red Army. See, this is interesting. A bunch of these people that, even as the Germans were retreating, decided to switch sides, and I find that fascinating. I don't know what they thought the end game was, but they thought it was going to be better than staying as part of the Soviet Union. Maybe they, thought somehow the Germans were going to come back. Okay. Since we are at war with the Soviets, we should rethink our strategy. No need for either voices. I'm going to no need for new viceroys right now. Okay. Well, we need to redo the text for this. Okay. Orchia taken. Novosharenska taken. We'll take the tour of the city. You can see they left the monuments up, but they were defiled a bit. So it was anti-communist stuff. Well, okay. Now. weapons, more. Okay. Now we have 0. We don't need coal, petrol rationing. We get a lot of fuel. We need the fuel. So I'm going to do this. Normally I don't do these things because normally I'm not, down at that. But see, if I did this one first, and I was seeing if we had either a rare materials one or another, like a steel, which obviously that just happened, but something that we didn't need. If you do this now, here we'll lose nothing in descent because we don't have any descent. So yes, we will do this. We'll get a little daily descent bonus, or descent plus, but we'll do some petrol rationing, which will gain us a bunch of fuel. And then we will come here and we will reduce that down. Okay. King Michael of Romania visits Sevastopol. After the conquest of Sevastopol by Axis troops, King Michael of Romania visits the Romanian units who took part in the operation. Okay, we lose 1 in descent. Oh no, they lose 1 in descent. Well, that's good for them. Allocate naval transport for capacities for Operation Hercules. Okay. Operation Hercules was a German code name given to the planned but never executed Italian-German invasion of Malta during World War II, code named Operation C3. The concept was approved in a meeting between Adolf Hitler and Benito Mussolini in April 1942. In preparations for the Operation C3, the Regina Marina, Italian Royal Navy, secured design plans from the Kriegsmarines for naval ferry barges. In late 41, in placed an initial order for 65 vessels, which were built in shipyards primarily in and around Palermo, gave the Italian Navy the necessary capacity to land infantry and armored vehicles and supplies directly onto an open beach. Up to 3 M1340 medium tanks or 100 fully equipped could be carried. The equivalent weight and cargo was laid down in March 42. A month later, all 6 use had been completed and were ready for deployment. Additional German operational landing craft were sent to Italy via rail and were assembled. Salerno was postponed. Okay, so use them for supply. Yes. Reorganization of the Romanian cavalry brigades. There were some changes. I guess just I'm sort of a bit pissed that I'm sort of using some of those guys, I think, and we're going to lose them. But okay. Deploy Italian naval units in the Black Sea. Okay. Okay. Harris Group south crosses the river Dnieper at its central part. Good. Okay, we're going to lose that last bit of descent there. And let's look at because of things. Oh wow, that really pumped up. How long are we going to have that? Oh, that sucks. I knew it was going to be that big of a thing. I probably wouldn't have taken the fuel. I gotta remember not to take the fuel in the future, because that just pushes the propaganda and civilian fuel rationing +2. Okay, Police for Nord, yeah, we'll do that. The 13th Flak Brigade. Okay, yeah, I think that would be a good idea. Assign a security role to the RAD behind the front lines. Yes, we will do that. Manpower, okay, that replaces some of the manpower we just lost. Okay. FUMUG 42, Wasserman. Wasserman radar was long range height. Finder radar built by Germany during World War II. The radar was developed, a development of FUMAG 80 Freya, and was operational during World War II for long-range detection. This device for ground-based operations was developed under the direction of Theodor Schulze starting in 42. Wasserman was based on largely unchanged freight electronics, but used an entirely new antenna array in order to improve the range and bearing precision. For this, up to 8 Freya antenna arrays were mounted on a 60 meter high pipe mast, 2 columns each. Okay. Yeah, good. Yes, we we want to use these. We're getting some fuel here. More captured equipment, sure. Okay, reorganize the Slovakian group. Okay, those are 35T tanks. Those are the 38s, yes, okay, yeah. Sure, I would have too long. Okay, and... okay. Okay, great. Okay, I'm gonna pause this for a second. Alright, I'm back. I had to do a bunch of micro of putting in officers to some of these units and heading them out, that kind of thing. So I just wanted to do that in my own time, slowly. Also, I directed a bunch of attacks where I could. France there. Good. Winning is one. That's the French resistance. We're getting close to isolating Leningrad. Important to do it from the north as well. They've won, so now I get to go down and fight that part of the group. One there, so I get to attack. Here I go. Oh, what? Maybe this one. Attack the ensign first. Okay, and now... oh, sure, you can have energy, Finland. Then we've won out here in Sherbrooke. See, by occupying all these things, and I was sort of, because I'm shrewd and I know how modders think, giving all these units, and they're not free, so they're not maybe giving them, but still having them given by events, means that the modder may be thinking about evil things like overkill uprisings, and to some degree we can just do increase revolt risk and give it a minimum revolt risk and things like that. There is that which is useful and good and affects not just when units or when things will volts break out in that sense, but also how much resources or ICs you get from a particular area or how much supplies can move through it. So it all sort of matters. And that's probably mostly more accurate as to what happens, but we also sort of suffer from the scale of this game, in which it's not companies or platoons breaking out with various fights. Oh, so we are We could defend there, good. We're winning most of these, and I like that. Well, I'm a bit worried about this up here, but I definitely want to cut these guys off. I'm willing to push that. Another win you can. On. Those are all doing fairly well. And here we got these the motorized cavalry units. And various units trying to get east. More and more east. Here and sort of no orders. Okay. See if we can bash through here. Sort of worried a bit about the forts. But if the units aren't too well dug in and they're sort of shattered, they may just collapse. Oh, okay, up here in the north. We're still pushing up. Hoping these guys will come up here and see the better terrain and outflank any of these big stacks of units that are trying to flee and form lines up. Okay, again, because what I have been doing is playing an episode or two, and yeah, I'll say I do wish we were a little more play a couple episodes, post them up, and then have you comment on them. It's a combination of one, I'm just been having fun playing these, and two, I'm playing ahead a bit and just keeping Hearts of Iron 3 running, because I can make a couple episodes and start to fill up my hard drive, because they can get pretty big, and then run the compression program on it, and then delete the bigger files, and just keeping Hearts of Iron on while doing all of this. So it's been on for a while, a couple of days, making some of these episodes to try to get them a bit longer to get these events to fire, because I know that some of that's the problem. Okay. Marine HQs, right? That's what we're stopping. Yeah. We could continue it because it does reduce delay between attack, but I don't really need more of them right now. Air launch torpedoes advance. That is good. That is... where is that? Bomb load product. Yeah, okay, it's grayed out. Okay, and we're probably done with that for now anyways, just because 45 cargo holds are nice, but reduce range, and right now range could be more critical. And how much is carried on any one? We've had a bunch of events, so yeah. Not just yet. We'll come back to that. We may get a few more boosts to the attack, and then well, speed would be nice. So we'll do that. Okay. Okay, this is from Allo Allo. You know, my accent's bad. Major General von Klinkerhoff commands the province's garrison forces. He is a very strict enforcer of German occupation, of the German occupation. He is willing to have French peasants shot when anything goes wrong. Shoot them. They really don't do that, but he keeps wanting to. And that's Klinkerhoff there. That's Colonel von Strom, and that's Lieutenant Gruber with his little tanks. So now we have here. Oh, we get over here. So we've just had a breakout of this, and these guys are, oh well, they're retreating here. How interesting. They're coming here. Wow. Lots and lots and lots of events. A lot of them are the river crossing tape. Well, we'll come back to that, I guess. Well, come on, get all these over here. Be able to see. Okay, so we have the Nouvion garrison here as part of Klinkerhoff group, and then we want to attach the other elements of it. Von Strom's element of the garrison. Gruber's little tanks. I did this. Obviously, you can try to put them into one division if you wish, but I wanted all these guys to each have their own little commands. So we can see the situation there. New Panzer Corps after the Battle of Dunkirk was renamed Gruppe Guderian. Okay, 1940, the French campaign. Every unit which was served for a large G on every tank. Motorcycle, okay. See, like this should have fired a long time ago, I think. But okay, we'll take that. Food rationing. Well, we're going to put this aside because we're not going to do that. Because I don't need the descent or the daily descent in consumer goods. Saying because we don't need the supplies that bad right now. But I want to make sure, if anything in these events that reduce or causes descent, won't be able to. That Hungary sends the 1st Air Brigade. The new Air Brigade left for Russia on June 1942 and was attached to Luftwaffe's 8th Flieger Corps on the Eastern Front. I have to sort of count how many ones there are in front of the V and figure that out. But it was still poorly equipped. It comprised an independent fighter group equipped with RE-2000s, the 4th Bomber Group with Caproni, CA-135 BIS. Those are, I think both of those are Italian. long-range reconnaissance group of German Heinkel HE-111s and the short-range reconnaissance squadron of Heinkel HE-46s, total of 100 aircraft. Okay. Yeah, we'll take that. Hitler declares war on the USA. This was a stupid move, in my opinion. I have to think about it because, yes, I can see the idea that, people will say, it was the time, join together, fight fight all at once. And it may have seemed like it was good, but what Hitler needed to win was time. That's what he lacked. He lacked time. Because we can see in things like realizing, oh, there's the T-34. We've got to build and re-equip our army with better tanks. And things like that Hitler needed the time to improve his army. We need the time to improve the Air Force. He needed all this time to improve, like a simple thing like going from the current models of German submarines to models with snorkels on them and other improvements that they were doing anyways, but he needed the time to do that. And it still would have been a bit to get the U.S. to change they would have been focused much more on Asia. And you could say, well, the U.S. give the U.S. enough time, they're going to get the A-bomb. And yeah, eventually, yeah, but going to war now, all it does is sink ships. Yeah, that's no problem for the U.S. I mean, obviously people died, and obviously it cost to build more ships, but as the U.S. goes, that's no problem. It's a thing, but it's not a real problem. So he needed the time, and this cuts down. So we'll lose dissent and gain popularity. Okay. Hitler and Mannheim recordings. Oh, these are interesting. Hitler and Mannheim recordings is a secret voice recording of private conversation between Adolf Hitler and Field Marshal Mannerheim, held in June 1942. The Finnish engineer of the broadcasting company, Eel Thor Demon, succeeded in recording the first 11 minutes of Hitler and Mannerheim's private conversation. Since Hitler never allowed anyone to record him off guard, it was done secretly. Damon's original purpose was to record official birthday speeches and Mannerheim's response. However, Damon decided to continue recording after the conversation switched from official to private. It was the only known recordings of Hitler speaking in an unofficial tone, and one of the very few recordings in which Hitler may be heard delivering a narrative without raising his voice. The conversation is about Hitler's explaining the failure of Operation Barbarossa, the Italian defeats in North Africa, Yugoslavia, and Albania, armaments in the Soviet Union, Romania's petroleum wells, and the recording was used by Swiss actor Bruno Granz as he was rehearsing Hitler's manners of speaking for his role in his 2004 film Downfall. Okay, yeah, that's the interesting thing is we hear Hitler performing his voice as opposed to just chatting his voice. Okay, Romania sends the 6th Army Corps as an expeditionary force. Yes, you can read all about that. Italy offers more troops for the Russian front. Okay, occasions contribute to the war in the East, largely obtained. Good. For the meeting. Oh, Hitler turned down the offer. How interesting. I still think we're missing because of either it wouldn't fire post 41, or just because talked about earlier, short time in between these episodes, and stopping and starting the game, that we missed a larger Italian expeditionary force. Okay, Mussolini prepares Italy for a longer war in Russia. The failure reached a decision on the Russian front in winter 41. Okay. Okay, so they lose a little bit there. Okay. Well, these are all going to help us. Sevastopol, though we don't like the damage to the base, but Crimea, yay. Here's Group 8 crosses the River Don. Excuse me. The River Poo. The River Nieman. Deploy the 12th Flak Division. Cologne said, okay. Was Cologne? Yeah. I guess. Just don't like giving it. Going too low on that. Streamlined structure of our war production, yes. So Speer overcame these difficulties by centralizing power over the war economy in himself. Factories were given autonomy, or as Speer put it, self-responsibility, and each factory concentrated on a single product. Backed by Hitler's strong support, the dictator stated, Speer, I'll sign anything that comes from you. He divided the armaments field according to weapon systems, with experts rather than civil servants overseeing each department. No department could be older, no department than 55 years old. Anyone older being susceptible to routine and ignorance. And no deputy older than 40. Oh, okay, deputy. Over these departments was a central planning committee headed by Speer, which took increasing responsibility for war production as time went by for the German economy itself. Okay, so we do this. See here, we're gaining some descent. Should have had that before all those river crossing things. I already have that. That kept hearing back. One remaining mountain brigades. I guess we don't have a choice. Now we'll do this to. So I got to keep that in mind. Do other things than the river crossing and other stuff to lower descent down. Okay. So we have this here. I'm going to send Gruber's little tanks around here to cut them off. And when they get cut off, he's going to support that attack. Okay. That's a... Yes, we definitely need that in the east. No, I don't need this on here. Okay, well, we've got these guys now, and we've lost whatever we've lost. These may be better, and probably very likely better units, but okay. Yeah. Send them up that way. Oh good, it's already out here in the front. Well, let's keep it moving. And, okay, these are the reformed mountain units. We're going to let them... Actually, you know, I think we're going to stop. We're going to move them by water. By sea. We'll move faster. Much faster. Another torpedo boats, okay, well, we'll give you the... command here, but no, we're going to stop you guys. Because you were going there to pick up other units that were going to be coming there eventually, because we didn't think we were moving anybody out of Greece anymore. Rebase. Rebase. I'm not going to let you have time to pause. I'm going to do what last time I did to take Moscow and try to surround it before trying to assault it directly. Otherwise, no, I don't want to do that. I'll study for the Marine. I'll do that. Okay, won another battle out here. 22nd Panzer drone. Well, that was a sending a train to battle these guys, and that's just shattered. Okay. We lost that one. Okay, well, let's come here and here. Down here to try to shatter all those units. You're attacking like you should be. A little confused where the borders are here. Oh, we've got a pocket. That's the situation. Okay, that makes sense. taking back all of France. I'm gonna take out these guys as well. Yeah, we should be able to hold there. Well, for June, we're getting pretty close to Moscow. I know it seems like, at least to me, it seems that we're coming in weekly. You know, weak. Just with the sort of panzer leading elements, with all this stuff gonna be showing up soon. But I think... Okay, keep moving up. I think we're gonna do alright. And getting enough stuff up there before winter really shows up. Okay, they're going there. They're attacking there, so you're gonna attack here to there. And many more events just showing up. Okay. Okay, we've won there. Good. And twin engine bomb bays have advanced. That's nice. Let's come down here and well, I think we'll do that. Maybe just twin engine bomb bays. Okay. But we still have more availability, so let's go with okay. Synthetic gasoline. The Wehrmacht's continuing need for fuel and our limited supply of natural oil has made need to expand our production of synthetic gasoline. Should we expand the Luna Works at this time? So, supplies, energy, metal, a little bit of manpower. Gain 1 crude oil in Leipzig, and gain an oil refinery in... yeah, I'm reading this. I made this, but it's been a long time. Oil refinery also in Leipzig, and 1 energy. Or no. It just comes down to, obviously, the energy we can spend in the metal. Comes down to supplies. Still playing silly games with fuel zipping in and out, but and supplies. But yep, we can do this. So we want that. Minsk is taken. We can take the city tour, though we sort of kind of saw it before. There's a bug in it that Smolensk is somehow... I copied and pasted the wrong event numbers probably. Okay, Merkblatt. Instruction booklets for soldiers and staff personnel of the Air Force traveling from the Reich to Norway, or from Norway to the Reich. This is, I just thought was an interesting, a little folded over booklet thingy, essential for showing how to find the liaison office there. So just interesting bit that I presume they published them for other areas than Norway, but what to do, where to go when traveling for soldiers. Yes, we'll take another convoy raider. Romania seizes the city of Odessa. Okay, they gain a bunch of supplies and crude oil, and descent. Very good. Norwegian airspace. Okay. Those are big 128mm anti-aircraft guns. Develop a new battle tank. The Panther was the German medium tank deployed during World War II from mid-1943 to the end of the European War in 1945. It was intended to counter the Soviet T-34 in replacement of the Panzer III and Panzer IV. While never replacing the latter, it served alongside it and the heavier Tiger I until the end of the war, while the Panther is considered one of the best tanks of World War II due to its excellent firepower and protection. It was less impressive in terms of mobility, reliability, and cost. The Panther arrived in 1943 and was rushed into combat in the Battle of Kursk with its initial problems uncorrected, which resulted in high breakdown rate. I think like almost half of them broke down going from the railhead to the battle and never made it in the battle. The Panther tank commanded respect of the Allies in its quantities along with those of the Tiger I led to the introduction of heavier Allied tanks such as the Soviet JS-2 and the American M26 Pershing, as well as the development of the post-war British Centurion tank. Centurion tank is a great tank. Its successes were nullified by Germany's generally declining position in the war, the loss of air superiority by the Luftwaffe, and the shortage of fuel and training space, and the declining quality of tank crews. Yeah, all that's very true. You see very much the idea. Now, the biggest problem with the Panther is that you're getting a heavier and heavier tank over a Panzer III or Panzer IV. Obviously, they got heavier over time as they stuck on more armor and bigger guns. So what the Germans did in their nice over-designing efficiency is try to build a very light engine and transmission system. Their engines are, and it goes back to some of the faults of the tank, is that it's the cost, and it's not necessarily the dollars or Reichsmarks or whatever, but the cost in time and machine tools and expert workmanship to make the vehicles is where you get the cost. So you bore out, shall we say, hollow spaces in the engine just simply to lighten it so that it can run, it won't keep the tank going up. So that's really good, but really expensive. The other thing is and very early on, the early models, I think the D mainly, but the transmissions were, there was some problems with them, including maybe just faulty manufacture, but there were some problems with them, and I'm not a mechanic enough to be able to explain them, and so they would break down a lot. But this continued on past just the initial teething process, because normally when you introduce a whole new system like this, you build some prototypes and you drive them around for a while and see how long until they break and see what the problems are and see where you may have too much torque on a particular element of the engine, that part could be beefed up or something so it doesn't break. And they just didn't do that with the Panther. They did improve it over the time, so they did do it, but they did it while it's in combat, not before putting it into large production. They rushed it into production, and so then they had to change. They had the problems with the current production, and then they had to change in the midstream of production, which slows things up. But also I've recently heard about is the main transmission, if I'm not mistaken, is up in the front of it, and it's incredibly hard to get at. There's no access hatches to it, basically. to get into the transmission of the tank. So the engine's in back. There's some axle things that are running through the center of it, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember right, and it goes to a transmission in front. Well, you can't maintain that transition where, like, the engine has hatches in the back, and you open them up, and you can get at the engine or take the engine out to do the maintenance or repair or replace. That's all great. You can't do that with the transmission. So yes, you can get it out, but you've got to dismantle a large element of the tank, including, like, remove the drivers and the co-driver, the other radio operators' seats and their a lot of their equipment there. And I think you can, maybe something in the upper deck of that, the flat part of that hatch or something like that. There's some place to sort of be able to haul this transmission out of the vehicle, but it's incredibly difficult. And so I suspect, and this is sort of from what the chieftain was saying, is that the mechanical problems and breakdowns, and a lot of the breakdowns happen in situations where they didn't have recovery tanks. And it's really only at this time, 43 and later, does Germany really start to have recovery tanks. Before then, it just relies on the big half-tracks as recovery vehicles, one or two towing together to tow and recover. A Tiger would normally take two, and that's to pull them out of a stuck place, bridge collapse, because they think it may take the tank weight, or it's taken the weight of the previous 5 tanks, and the 6th one goes across and the bridge collapse. So you haul the tank out, and I'm thinking small stream type bridge, not a big major river thing, nothing that's showing up here, something like that. So they have a procedure to recover vehicles in distress. Might be damaged, might just be broken, but vehicles in distress, they have that. But that is one, they're not necessarily right there, ready to recover the tanks. And two, part of the reason they may not be right there is, I think part of the reason is all those all the photos I've seen of using the half-tracks as recovery vehicles, is they look like the same half-tracks that 10 minutes before they were tactically towing the Flak 88 guns around. They're sort of they're the bigger ones, that size of thing. So they're probably not dedicated to the job, because they don't seem to have even field modification put on them, hoists or winches to lift things, like lift an engine out, or they don't seem to be field ready. They're just sort of like, oh hey, our tank's broken down. You guys over in those Flak 88s, can you send a couple of your half-tracks over to get this vehicle recovered, or whatever it might be? And so I think it's lack of a dedicated, because normally engineers would start to modify things if it's their toys to play with. So that's my suspect feeling on it. Again, it's feelings because I don't know directly. And even if they did have dedicated ones, I don't think they were universal and enough and everywhere. It's later the Bergpanzers, if you want to call it, I think I'm pronouncing that right, are the recovery tanks, and they're generally speaking mostly Panzer IVs I've seen, or Panthers, but some Panzer IVs, and they're basically tanks without the turret, and then they are sort of have A-frame type stuff to be able to lift things. Generally, it's to lift out engines, or maybe lift off a turret, or some such thing like that. And those are dedicated vehicles to operate. And I also sort of think the early models were field modifications. Get a knocked out tank with a, messed up turret. Well, we can get the engineers think, well, we can get this thing running, but the turret's shot. Well, we'll just use it as a recovery vehicle, a towing vehicle. And so I think that's how, I'm speculating here, that's how they got going. But it has an armored hull, and so these other vehicles aren't armored, so that you don't put the recovery tanks in the middle of the Battle of Kursk and try to recover something as the enemy shooting 76 millimeter rounds or 85 millimeter anti-tank rounds at you. That's a bit too much. even with, you know, that and machine gun bullets flying. So you sort of need a bit of a calm, but you also need to, you know, so if they're in the neighborhood, shall we say, they could get there if it's a bit of a calm, come in and recover it. I think they lost a lot of Panthers because you're now getting to the defensive war. You're now getting to the situation that you don't have that calm, or you are retreating, and the tank breaks down, and you've got to retreat. So they normally tried to sabotage the vehicle, but there's a fair number of photos with Soviet markings on Panthers. So they recovered them and got them running again. So I think a lot of them just broke down and they had to leave them. You know, it might not be quite a desperation move where we got to flee, but it's just like, and there wasn't necessarily a convenient other Panther to hook up and drag the thing off. I mean, after a while, you know, how many you're going to do that? After a while, you run out of that ability to do that. So, meaning, if you've got a couple of tanks, you got 4 tanks somewhere. One of them breaks down, 2 can cover it, maybe the third, if depending on the terrain, can tow the other one off. You just put it in neutral and let the thing, you know, roll. And if you're not going across too bad of terrain, you can probably tow another tank or something. But eventually, if 2 of them break down, the other 2 aren't going to be able to tow them. It's just going to end up have to leave them behind, or leave one of them behind or something. Okay, develop a new battle tank. No, we want to do that. Yes. Metal I don't care about. Cost. Supplies I do, but we're going to pay it. You know, I don't like that. Okay, establish the Reich Verlungen Essen, to increase the management of steel as the single most important resource of the war effort. Albert Speer thought to ease the individual and private interest of the traditionally powerful steel enterprises. The National Socialist government had always encouraged in the past the formation of cartels and preferred to steer rather than intervene directly in economic affairs. Due to the development of the war, the National Socialist regime increasingly exerted control over the economy. In 1939, the German economy started to concentrate in new economic organizations of key industries to ensure the highest possible supply of goods. The Reich for coal, textiles, chemical fibers, and cement was established. In 1942, the war situation provided Albert Speer the momentum to challenge the powerful steel barons and to forge the Essen version of that. Okay. So we gain steel production, which I don't think we're going to do much more increases on, but industry and efficiency, more metal, more rare materials, more. Okay, yeah, we like that. I'll change nothing. We'll take that. Marine Commando North Africa. German transports employed supply of North Africa. The second half. Part. Okay, they played active role in. Okay, good. We want that. Okay, good. We're still moving forward as we need to. Yep. Oh, I thought this would be a little bit off at the end. Tank converted. Not quite doing as well as I'd hoped. Let's blast him some more with bombs. Fortunately, he's caught on the defensive. But too much linking up here, but let's just walk to there. Oh good, we won Gordino. At least that's how I'm pronouncing it. I'm correct, it's from Napoleon. Oh no, this is another place. Gordino's out here. At least the one I'm thinking of where Napoleon fought his battle. I guess it's Gordino or something, whatever. Yeah, I'm not an expert on every place name everywhere. Let's go crashing through some of these big formations before they get too well fortified. Let's go through the swamps just so we will. Actually, probably be better to do it. No. I'm changing my mind, that isn't good command practices, but alright. And good, we want it there, one down here. You want to sell this fuel? No, not across the Atlantic. Somebody in Europe give me an option to buy some fuel. I'll take it, probably. Oh good, this will shut down their movement. And you keep pushing into here. Uh-oh. Let's go back to France. Where are we? Okay, here we're doing that. You guys come down here. Okay, well, Gruber can send his little tanks back. And go back to guarding the coast. Okay, well these guys are here, so let's keep moving east and see if we can cut off the supply. Yes, I know they're coming up our wake and they're going to retake some territory, but oh well. Okay, You're going to go into the defensive totally here because province that you're attacking, we don't need to attack anymore. Okay, well. I'm going to stop the attack. Major defeat. Yeah, that was a long battle. We didn't win that one. Even more events. Okay, a lot of stuff has been stacking up. Okay. Panzerschreck. The arrival of the Soviet T-34 tank in greater numbers created increased strain on the Wehrmacht. One solution was to deploy more 88mm anti-aircraft artillery to the front lines. These guns have powerful armor-piercing capabilities when used against tanks. If needed, 10 motorized flak regiments will become available in Berlin, which can be rushed forward to the front where the T-34 chaos. Okay, manpower supplies, 30 manpower. Okay, till July 42, 1%. Biggest problem is the manpower, 30 of that. I'll take it. Romania mobilizes the 1st and 6th Army Corps, 7th Army Corps. The Harris Group South. Okay, yeah, we'll take that. Wehrmacht enjoys French garrisons. The occupation of France was for many German soldiers the best option to endure for the war, even more so after the horror of the first Russian winter and prospects of a protracted war. Maybe they start to grow soft. And yes, the topless dancers of one of the French cabarets. I've collected, well, actually that photo and some of the other photos from this stuff, and as well as a bunch of photos of German soldiers in and around Paris and various mementos, that were collected from that time. And I plan it someday to really talk about and make a whole event chain on Paris and occupation. So okay, so this one is until we're losing land organization and reinforcement bonus by 5%. That's harsh. That is harsh. Okay, night fighter coordination. Seebrung Titch was used to pilot the night fighter and the allied aircraft in order to perform an interception. Okay. We are, particularly because we are down negative supply territory, we'll do that. Might as well dig ourselves in deep hole because it immediately gets erased. Okay. We're going to stop this attack. And if it's another major defeat. We're going to attack here. We want to, one, close this off, and two, when this gets in there with its light armor, or regular armor, just a smaller one here. That will help things. Reinforcements, upgrades, okay. Eating up our ICs. looks like it shattered somewhere here. Back one here. Where was that? Oh, here, yeah, okay. Now that you're here, we're going to do this. You're going to do this. Cut these guys off. Another major defeat. Okay, oh, the 40. That was... oh, right, we're just defending them. Okay, our offensive attack up there was faltered, and this unit here, yes, I know it was a specifically light follow-on, or designed as a exploitation division, collapsed. Okay. Let's go back up here. Okay, that. If we haven't gotten, I mean, because of things, we haven't gotten the Norwegian, or the Finnish, can I get through here? Maybe. Garrison units. What did all those, now I'm curious. Okay, here's flak units. Okay, so they're just a bunch of, oh wow. They could all be added to headquarter units. Or something, I don't even hardly know what to do with them all. But leaving them here is not a good option. And though putting them on their own will also be a bad option, I think. So I think we should send them east. And see what we can do with them. I'm really sort of disappointed some of these things are still going on. Just opposing headquarters. Well, let's go through here. We come up and just occupy these two provinces. We attach you to, yeah, there we go. taken. We're still pushing there. Oh, I totally forgot about this. Okay, they're still... Okay, good. And then we'll get them to the Japanese port. And even more events. Self-propelled artillery brigades, okay. And oh, and medium tank destroyers. So against and 400 bomber cruisers. Let's take a look at that. So that's done. Armor plate thickness needs to be stopped as well. Self-propelled artillery. Yeah, let's stop that. Yeah, it would be nice to improve them even more, but we'll probably come back. 400 bomber crew advance, that's nice. This one, let's shift this one to there. Okay, go to here. Okay, that's good. That's good. Stop. You're going to counterattack there once we get through these things. Let's see how long that is. Yeah, okay, won that. Okay, you need to keep moving. Now. Logistical is already being researched, and that's sort of what I was just checking just to see. These would be good, but they'd be costly. Well, when do we not? Yeah, they'd be costly once we do it. We're running low on the ICs right now, at least from my perspective. We could do pilot training and crew training. Okay, yes, we want armored SS engineers. Equip our troops for winter warfare after the failure of Operation Barbarossa, the Russian winter. I lost not many soldiers. Okay, lose supplies, winter effects until January. Yeah, let's do that. Use of the winter. Upgrade the port of Tripoli. Well, since we're negative on supplies, I think it's really costing us money. No, well, I guess we are. Okay, this is bad. Yeah, I don't like this, that I can't decide not to do that. I don't like that at all. don't like that at all. And I don't know if they thought I would decide not to do it, or wouldn't decide not to do it. Let me just attack there. I'm getting sick of that. You know, I know I think I've sent twice Romanian troops or somebody else's troops there to deal with it, and they keep getting reorganized into some other sort of formation because of the event. I might like the reorganized troops, but I might not like them right then. That's sort of why I like things. I like those to appear over here. And I can fire them when I feel like it. Reinforcements. We're getting founded by a lot of there. Well, let's attack down here. And we'll come along with it. But I'm going to send you and drive in that direction. Okay, we get fuel coming in. Oh, we could be out bombing the Navy stuff. Okay. Here's. Here's. Okay, well, I think we need to end this episode here. It's gone on long enough. I want to thank everyone for watching, of course, and if you would, please like the videos. I do hope it's worth your trouble liking the videos. And of course, please post questions, comments, suggestions, ideas. I love hearing from you. See you next time for more Hearts of Iron.